The future of Test cricket is something that, truth be told, has never really stopped being debated. But one of the major propositions that has gained a lot of traction in recent times is that of a two-tier Test system. But that doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. In fact, not only is the next edition of the WTC cycle not going to feature two tiers, it could potentially be expanded, and assuming the ICC has its way, there could be a return of a very, let's say, short-lived but interesting experiment that was scrapped after the 2023 ODI World Cup. We'll discuss all those things and more in this particular video, but first let's go over the WTC as well as the proposed two-tier Test cricket system. The short news is that it's been rejected. In fact, from 2027 onwards, the WTC cycle could potentially feature 12 teams. So all 12 test playing nations could be making it into the expanded edition of the WTC cycle. Now, the two-tier test system idea has been potentially put on ice, at least for now, and there's two major reasons for that. One, of course, is that there was opposition from the smaller test playing nations, that of course this would lead to less test playing opportunities against the big sides. The second comes about from the big sides themselves, because much as they potentially like to be playing more games against each other, they did not want to have the threat of relegation hanging over them. So that these two combinations, or a combination of these two factors, has led to the two test idea being scuppered, and I personally think that's great. I don't necessarily think that dividing it into two tiers will serve the game. In fact, it might very well signal an early death knell for Test cricket, because no one will be interested in watching the likes of Pakistan, West Indies and Sri Lanka play against each other. If they're playing the top teams, there's at least still some interest to be garnered. But make it two tiers and you're not going to be seeing too many nations take much interest in Test cricket. As for the other thing that I was talking about, well, do you guys remember something called the ODI Super League? It was similar in some ways to the WTC, but implemented for ODI cricket ahead of the 2023 World Cup to give more context to bilateral series. Of course, it was scuppered because the idea was a little bit complicated, but I personally thought that the idea had some, let's say, legs and could be implemented in the future if it was more simplified. Guess what? Seems like the ICC agrees with me. Why? Because the concept, which was very short-lived, could very well be making a comeback very, very soon. In fact, it was scrapped after the 2023 ODI World Cup, you'd remember that, but could be making a comeback from at least 2028 onwards. Now, why it is that this could only happen from 2028 is because disrupting qualification for 2027 makes no sense. Right now, it is going to be determined basis the rankings as well as the qualifiers that are played, which makes sense given now there's only 2 years left to the tournament. But after the 2027 ODI World Cup, you could see it return. This time, of course, I think it'll be more simplified than it was previously, but it could be the shot in the arm that bilateral ODI series need very, very badly, because right now there's a staggering lack of context when it comes to most of these series. It's a T20 World Cup year, so most nations aren't even playing ODIs. The few who are more often than not fielding experimental sides. That is the state of ODI cricket right now. Whereas T20s will always thrive for two reasons. One, the World Cup come about every 2 years, and it is the in format. Whereas Tests, everyone will be playing and has some meaning because of the WTC cycle. So these are the major changes that are potentially being proposed for not only the WTC cycle but even the ODI World Cup. And I personally am all for both of these changes. But do you guys agree, disagree? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such videos from the world of sport.